Hello, ranked Gauntlet enthusiasts and people looking to score some PvP rewards. We are, once again, doing the weekly bans and ops reviews and building sample teams. Now, last week, that first team I built actually pretty much took me to the top 400, so I'm not just blowing hot air here. These do work, surprisingly. Um, but yeah, let's see what we've got for this week. Okay, so at band 2, we have Laura, rearmed Laura, Claudia, Replacer King, and that's it, for the band 2s. Band 2 Laura, I guess that's not surprising, I saw quite a lot of her last week. Band 2 Claudia, she was the only, like, really good healer, so yeah, of course she got hit. And banned to Replacer King because people kept using Replacer King, even though he was at ban 1. Because at ban 1 he's still usable. Let's see the ban 1s. That is a lot of ban 1s, so we've got some reading to do. So, Amy, makes sense. She was popular last week. Maybe she got cast banned as she usually does. Awaken Seoyun. That's interesting. Awaken Jushyun. That's actually not expected. Cause the thing is with Jushyun, well, I mean we'll get to it later. But yeah, with Jushyun, he's not a great matchup against Rearm Titan, I think, and Rearm Titan was very popular last week. So it's weird to see that people were playing him and often winning enough with him that he managed to score a ban. But I mean, goes to show. Some things can surprise you. Horizon ban 1? That's not surprising because a lot of defenders were banned last week. Ifrit ban 1? Yep. Rearmed Elizabeth. Yep, saw lots of her. Rearmed Titan. We gotta talk about Rearmed Titan. Rearmed Titan is an absolute menace. Like, it's taken some time for him to finally get banned, but Rearmed Titan is seriously a very powerful league unit. Definitely one for everyone to consider, even if they don't run mech comps. In fact, I'd say he's almost better in mech comps because he's just like independently very good. Can run him with anything and he just does his job. He does good damage, is good at staying alive. What more could you really ask for? And also, since he's a striker, he doesn't have a disadvantage, a type disadvantage against either defenders or strikers, in terms of who he targets with his damage. Ban 1 Lucercia, yep. Ban 1 Admin Rifleman. Ban 1 Casey Bins still. Still no Casey Bins for people. Ban 1 Shaolin. Ban 1 Carmen. Ban 1 Jury. Ban 1 Lee Suyun. Ban 1 Yang Harim. Ban 1 Helen Keller. Ban 1 Spira. Ban 1 Horizon. So, yeah, a lot of our ban 2s from last week went down to ban 1. I think that's generally how it works. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a unit go from ban 2 to ban 0. So, I suppose that makes sense. But yeah, a lot of the ban 1s, I would say, are situationally usable. Like, depending on what kind of team you're running and what you want to do. It's not necessarily unplayable. Like, I would say ban 1 Spira, that's not going to work. Ban 1 Casey, since you can't lead her, it's probably, you can do better for 4 cost in terms of defenders. Ban 1 Admin Rifleman, he has enough competition for defender melters that you don't need to pick him, and yeah, you don't really need to take 5 cost Rearmed Elizabeth when you can take, for some reason, surprisingly unbanned Rearmed Kang for 2 cost. So, and you probably don't want to take Horizon either at 5 cost. And yeah, Seoyun and Jushyun at 7 cost, that's too much. But everyone else, theoretically usable if that's what you want to run. They're not optimal. You definitely don't want to end up with a team with like 2 or 3 banned units. That's just gonna get in your own way. But Yeah, no, most of these are strong enough that at ban 1, they could still be an option for certain kinds of teams. Speaking of... Actually, we'll get to that later. Let's see what the banned ships are. Blue Bridge Mark II banned. Okay, so definitely no Replacer King this week. Replacer King banned 2, Blue Bridge Mark II banned 2. No Replacer King. Congratulations. We've survived. Ban 1 Gleipnir. Pod type. Alright. Ban 1 Coffin 6, because a lot of people are running it with Titan. Rearm Titan. And ban 1 Gleipnir Pod type, because it's sort of like a stand-in for Lake Superior, which is finally unbanned. My favorite ship. Alright, let's see. What did people actually vote for? Replacer King, Horizon, Titan. Oh, look, so Rearm Titan got a vote ban because people really didn't like dealing with him, I guess. And Amy vote ban because people didn't like dealing with her. That's normal. That makes sense. Notably, people have stopped banning Thunderbolt, which means, yeah. So Thunderbolt is free. Albion is free. So yeah, Terror is coming. Rearmed Elizabeth, I think, is the only Terror unit banned. Rearmed Kang is still there. Regular Kang, not worth really mentioning, but still there. I don't think you can run a rearmed unit and a regular unit at the same team. I'm pretty sure you can't. But yeah, so yeah, this will be Terror Week then. So we got rid of King, we got rid of Amy, and now we have Terror Week. Now we have the Fast Siege teams. Blue Bridge, yeah, that people didn't want to deal with any more Replacer Kings. They've had their fill. Alright, so the up units. Nayuvan. Nothing interesting there. Replacer Bishop. Wonderful. So, Replacer Bishop is another unit that can work with Terror. I mean, people don't normally run her anymore, but I think at 2 cost people would run her. She actually does a surprising amount of damage. Laura Jaeger, also actually kind of a Terror unit. Oh boy. Okay. So this is officially Terror Week. This is officially Terror Week. So look forward to that. Ah, man. And also, yeah. What's her face? Monet at 1 cost is kind of cool. Like, she's not bad. She can, seal with her basic attacks. And she's not exactly tanky, but she definitely can absorb some damage. So at 1 cost, if you have, like, a free space in your, 8-person squad, you can actually just slot her in as, like, an off defender, a little disturbance. Yeah, she's not bad. Last time she was up, I ran her, and I felt like she was doing good work for the 1 cost. So, yeah, I think she could definitely be an option. All of these, I mean, I'm not sure about 2 cost Nayuban. Nayuban, yeah, maybe for a striker rush comp, Nayuban could be good. Yeah, okay. So now we know what's banned. Let's talk some more about what's actually not banned. So, Terror, like I said, that's going to be all over the place for the people who have both the gear for it and the hatred for PvP in general to want to just skip over battling your opponent and just battle their defenseless ship. I don't know why people want to bully ships so badly, but I mean, I guess that's their choice. So all the mainstream healers are banned. Claudia banned 2, Carmen banned 1, Evelyn banned 1. So that leaves us with Chinatsu, that leaves us with Arius, and both of them are definitely weaker in terms of their healing abilities. Ying Hurim's also banned. I guess she's a bit more of a healer and haste buffer than exactly a healer. But yeah, what else? Yeah, Awaken Horizon is usable at Band 1. I would definitely expect to see at least some people running Awaken Horizon rushes. And her favorite ship, the favorite ship of Horizon Rushes, is the New Detroit, which is also unbanned. Oh yeah, so Spira being banned is also going to be a bit of a disadvantage for terror teams, but it's not a lot. Banned Elizabeth, banned Spira. I think they can manage without them when they have Thunderbolt and Riam Kang and the up units and Albion free. So yeah. So in terms of frontliners this week, we have who banned? We got Horizon banned, but that's not a huge deal for most people. And I think everyone else is free. Yeah, literally just run whatever defender. Oh yeah, and Riam Casey Benz is free is banned. So other than that, just run whatever defender or awakened defender usually works for you. Um, Strikers, surprisingly, Riam Destarosa is not banned this week. I saw a bunch of her last week. I also used her a bunch last week, but no bans for her, so she's still out there for those who like using her. I think, yeah, except for Awakened Jushiun, I think. Oh yeah, and Ifrit, which is not a frontliner, but yeah, all the frontliner strikers are free this week. So front lines, definitely just kind of run whatever you feel like, almost. In terms of healers, like we said, it's probably Shinatsu and Arius are going to be the best you can do unless you want to run one of the band healers. Because Carmen and Evelyn at band 1 are still usable, definitely. I'm probably going to end up running Evelyn because I just think she brings a lot of value, enough to pay for deployment energy for, since you don't really need her to tank a lot of damage or do a lot of damage. Band 1 only really affects her cost. Alright, so in terms of defender killers, admin, rifleman, and Ifrit are banned. So yeah, that leaves you with pretty much all of the other classics. Yeah, nothing super notable. Just that this is probably going to be Terror Week, that a number of these Band 1 units are still usable. And yeah, let's just go on to make some teams. Alright, yeah, this was the team I used last week. Except for I did switch out Kang with Up Choi Ina because I just don't have any good soldier gear at all. I really wanted to use Kang, but didn't have the gear for it. And I did switch out Hans Sorum for Gaeun last week. I kind of missed that because Gaeun's usually banned. But she wasn't last week and she isn't this week. And she's definitely, if you build her to be a defender killer, she works about as well as Ryam Hansorum, I think. But yeah, let's make some teams. There's so many band 1 units this week, it is going to be hard to remember them all through this interface, since we can't build them in the regular one. I think Ministro was still free. Awaken Jake. Riam Destarosa. Leader. Healer. So I'm going to bring Evelyn, because I like her. I think she's worth the cost. Yeah, let's bring, what's her face? Ludmilla, because, Shaolin remains banned. Crestal Shaolin remains banned, and Awakened Li Suyan is also banned. So I would say that Ludmilla is definitely a good option. In terms of striker killers, Riam Kang is still free. I'm gonna see if I can actually get some soldier gear this week so I can put her to work. Let's see. For now, I'm going to put in Lily, and then I'll have a look at what I'm missing. Lily, Lily, Lily. Oh, I don't have her favorited. I should favorite Lily. I use her all the time, for PvP at least. Lily, 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 where are you? There she is. And one more. It's got a front line. We've got Striker Killer. We got a healer. We need some... whatchamacallit. Yeah, let's make it Gaon. Gaon, where are you at? Oops. Alright. And the ship, Blue Bridge Mark. Not Blue Bridge, whatchamacallit. Lake Superior, no doubt. And Kim Hana. And that's my comfort pick team for the week. The team I am personally most likely going to run. Everything here checks out. I'll be running Gaon with anti-defender subs, like I did for part of last week. So yeah, just going on heavy on the anti-defender. She can still do some backline damage with that. And so yeah, we've got our front line. We've got our Striker Killer, healer. We've got one dedicated anti-defender unit, one, you know, kind of general damage. She's built to be caster, but she still can do some frontline damage like this, since I have her mace set upgraded to T7. And we've got some backline disruption. So yeah, I think this looks like a solid kind of first try team. I expect this will probably work fine. And let's build another slightly different team and see what else we can do with the same units I have. Now, I don't think there's anything... I mean, aside from Terror, so the question is, what are you going to do about Terror? Unfortunately, the Gleipnir armor type, which might have been helpful against Terror, is banned. So is the Gleipnir pod type. I might have recommended the Enterprise just because of its like laser beam being good at getting rid of stuff, but the question is, will you be able to survive against Terror long enough to fire that ultimate off? Which, I mean, I guess it depends on your team. I don't think the New Ohio's silence is necessarily helpful. I'm honestly not the best at dealing with terror comps. I usually just get killed by them more often than not. But yeah, let's, for the sake of variance and for the sake of not picking a banned ship into Terror Week, let's just go with the Enterprise. I think it might be potentially my best available option for a standard counter team. And yeah, let's go with probably Sigma. In terms of the actual team, we're going to try and build a team with no awaken units to be as accessible as possible. Still think Evelyn's worth bringing though. Still think Evelyn's worth it, even at ban 1. But if I had Shinatsu, I would run her. And if I was good at using Arias, I might use her. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright. So, yeah, I'm still gonna go with... I think pretty much everyone who's, like, considering PvP probably has Estarossa rearmed. So, you can just use her and lead her, and why not? Yeah, let's see. What else have we got? Defenders. I once again have like no defender options. I don't know. If you have Serapel, you could probably run her here. If you have Liumi, you could theoretically run her. She's not really the tankiest defender by any means. But I guess she's an option. But yeah, I'd say probably Thrapple if you have it, since Horizon's now banned and Rearm Casey is banned. So next month we're getting, I guess it might be technically this month now, but in May we're getting Rearmed Alex, and Rearmed Alex, her rearm turns her into a defender, and reportedly she becomes a defender about on the same level as Casey Binns. So we're gonna have more defender options finally. That's gonna be something to look forward to. But you know, other than that, you can run, yeah, plenty of things. If you have Nayubin, Awakened Nayubin, and like pretty good gear, also an option. Jake, of course. Yeah, let's just run her for the moment, since she's upped. But you definitely can't really count on her in terms of staying alive. Still, let's see what we can do with her in there. Let's see, who did I use here? Gaian. So instead of Gaian, let's run Rion Hansorum for this team. We already have one banned unit, so that's pushing it. But if you're not, like, you know, competing for, like, Master or Grandmaster Challenger, you could probably still run Rearmed Shaolin at ban 1, the Crystal Shaolin version. She really can put on an impressive show in terms of damage dealing, and people are less likely to expect her when she's banned, and less likely to be bringing counters. So it's something you can consider. Don't really love the idea, but And also for Estarossa, you can also run Rearmed Orca here if you don't have Estarossa or don't really like using her and prefer Rearmed Orca. Rearmed Orca, if you give her a good tanky set, she's also pretty difficult to take down. Alright. What else can we bring here? What else do we need? We got our frontliner, got a striker killer, healer. What else can we do about terror? What are some terror counters? Do I even have any? Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of great options against terror, I think. Yeah, the Rearmed Titan is banned. Otherwise, I think that could have been helpful. If you happen to have or have recently pulled for Raphael Jury, Raphael Jury is finally in the drop pool, so it is actually possible to get her. And if we get some unit selectors, some SSR selectors in any events coming up, then free-to-play players or just players who didn't buy the counter pass will actually be able to get Raphael Jury. Raphael Jury is usable at ban 1, I would say. I definitely still see her in play in like top levels despite her being banned, so yeah, I would say Raphael Jury, if you have her, you might want to run her. I think she would be helpful against terror comps. But things being as they are, yeah, let's go with Kang. She's inexpensive, and if you build her to be tanky, she and her summon can actually be helpful for, I guess, countering the terror by dropping on top of them. And yeah, just absorbing damage at a pretty low cost. Because if you can outlast a terror push, like in the beginning, if you can stop them from doing too much damage to your ship, and just like hold the line and kill them off, then you definitely have a shot at actually killing them. If they can't do enough damage in that first push, then you have a very good chance of just turning the tables on them. Alright, what other disruptors are there that are good? What else can we do? Yeah, this team is really inexpensive so far. So if you've got some kind of Awaken to run, this might be a good time for her. I feel like Ministra's just a really good choice. A lot of people should have her because I think a lot of guides recommend her being like one of the first awakened units that you go for. So if you have her, I think this could be a good week for her. Particularly, I mean, she's a little on the expensive side, but she's tanky, and when she takes like a certain amount of damage, she summons a Spira, which is also pretty tanky. So I think that she should be helpful against terror teams if you have her, and she's just always good when she's not banned, in my opinion. And let's go with maybe one more defender killer. What are our options? If you have Rita, and yeah, if you have Rita and you have her geared, she could work potentially. But usually she's built anti-striker, and we already have an anti-striker. There's going to be, like, it's pretty far off in the future now, but there is going to be a new unit coming up that recently released in the Korean version, which looks like she should be really good against terror comps because she's anti-mech, which means she can deal with siege units that sometimes people will use, and she can deal with Thunderbolt pretty well, and she roots herself in place. I think she's fairly tanky, but yeah, no, that's a very far off thing for us. Okay, one more thing. One more thing. What shall it be? If rates banned. Yeah, I think everyone probably has Gaon. Let's just go with Gaon again then. And yeah, there's our team. We've got a little bit of everything. Actually, we've got too much of something. We don't need this many rangers. King doesn't really count as ranger, but still, we have too many rangers. We need to pick something else. Something else that makes sense for this team. I would say, yeah, I probably want to bring, if you're building this exact team, this would be the spot for Lee Yumi. But I don't have Lee Yumi, so that's not really an option. You could bring twins, potentially. Yeah, well, I think this could work. Between twins, Monet, and rearmed Esterosa, or rearmed Orca, that should be enough frontline sustain for you. Twins should also be pretty decent for dealing with terrors, because, you know, they have 2 bodies and they cost 2, so they will be good for absorbing some of the damage that's going to be coming at you. Yeah, I would say this should be a good week for twins, just to help weaken terror teams. Okay, so we're going to say that's good for this week. And yeah, if you like this video, please give it a like. If you enjoy this sort of content, then subscribe, and see you next week. Good luck with the terror stuff.